right, Pickle.
List Thursday.
List Thursday. Time for Tepper's Top 10. So, today I wanted to put together a list of teams that are changing classifications. And there were a lot of them in the latest UIL realignment. Teams moving up, teams moving down, teams moving sideways. Up in classification, down in classification. And I think that there is this notion, and I think it's understandable, that if you move up a classification, you're going to struggle. And if you move down a classification, you're going to thrive.
Yeah.
And I think that while that may generally hold true.
I was going to say, that's a broad
assumption.
Yeah, if you want to say like 70% of the time,
Yes.
I would go with that.
Because I do think that there are a fair amount of teams that are moving down that are still going to struggle.
Yep.
And I think that there are still a fair amount of teams that are moving up have an opportunity to just keep on trucking, right? I think that is an instance in which those types of instances occur. And so I want to come up with my top 10 immediate contenders in their new Texas high school football classification. So these are only teams that change classifications, right? You will not see Galena Park North Shore on this list.
No.
They did not change classifications.
And they're not going to.
They are a contender.
Yeah.
I'm talking teams that change classifications that I think are immediately a contender in their new classification. And what do I mean? Let me put a little bit of fine point on this.
Okay.
What do I mean by contender? I think a contender is a team that can win their region. Okay? A team that I think can win their region. Now, there are more than 10 of them, but these are my top 10 that I've got my eye on that I think are real contenders to win their region, which will put them in the state semifinals, or perhaps even win the whole darn thing. Okay? So let's start. Go to the graphics. Number 10 here. There's my top 10 immediate contenders in new Texas high school football classifications. Number 10!
Katy Pato.
Katy Pato, the defending 5A Division I state champs, are moving up to Class 6A. Now, they are going to have a lot of change here because, obviously, moving up classification, and they're doing so now without their coach, BJ Gott, leaving to go to Pearland. So they'll have a new coach. They are, of course, still the defending 5A Division I state champs. They are getting launched into Region 3, which is very difficult. But I will say, I need to take a look at where they fall from an enrollment perspective. Now, they are they were relatively big, but if they can find a way, for example, if Tompkins and Katy, and Cinco Ranch, they will almost certainly, every team in their classification, or every team in their district that made the playoffs last year, and there were 5 of them, including themselves, or rather 4 others. Katy, Tompkins, Cinco Ranch, and Seven Lakes are all bigger than them. So they only need 2 of them to make the playoffs.
Which feels
we've
normal.
talked. It seems pretty much a lot.
Yeah.
Katy and Tompkins, or Katy and Cinco Ranch, right? What I would say here, if you take a look at this, at the way that 6A Division II tends to break out, normally that's a little bit more manageable.
Yeah.
Right? Normally, that's going to be an opportunity to make a little bit of a run. So I don't think Pato moving up to 6A is some immediate, heat death.
No, especially because we talked about this a lot, all credit to College Station and stuff, and all credit to Pato and winning that 5A Division I state championship. But they already had 6A numbers, basically, at this point last year. So it's not like they're short by any stretch of the mean.
Right. I mean, they're a 3,000 student school.
Yeah,
and so they've got numbers
no
there. That's not necessarily the issue. I also think, again, if they can go to the Division II bracket, which seems, I would say, let's just say likely. If they're able to go to the Division II bracket, then I think they've got an opportunity to make a run. Now, Katy, of course, made the state semifinals last year. Out of Region 2. They went to the Division 2. But if Katy doesn't go there, then you're talking about a team like C.E. King or Summer Creek, and I'm just here to tell you that I think that Pato can hang with those types of teams. Number 9!
GregoryPortland.
Let's go a little bit off the board here. GregoryPortland is moving down from 5A Division 1 to 5A Division 2, and one of the things that I feel like we're not necessarily talking about a whole lot. This is a team that last year went 9-4. And if you take a look at what Region 4 looks like, right, what Region 4 of 5A Division 2 looks like, Liberty Hill, of course, won the region last year, and they figure to be pretty good again. But who else in that region are you sure is a world beater, right? Alamo Heights? Maybe. Flower Bluff, another drop down? Maybe.
Flower Bluff had a good year last year.
Right. Mercedes? San Antonio Veterans Memorial, another drop down. I'm just saying that I think Gregory Portland, by virtue of going to Region 4 in 5A Division 2, which I would say is, in my opinion, the weakest, or at least least deep region in the 5A Division 2, I think there's an opportunity for G-Port to make a run. And Brent Davis has done a great job down there. I think they're building something with what they're doing at Gregory Portland. Keep an eye on the Wildcats.
This was a prime example of when you joked about teams obviously going up and down, but then also left to right.
Yes,
this is kind of a left to right movement there.
Yeah, they're going a little bit sideways. Number 8, another off the board.
Very off the board in Gordon.
Let's talk six-man football. So Gordon, there wasn't a ton of high-profile changes in as far as divisions are concerned in six-man football. There's a few teams that are leaving six-man football. Sterling City, Water Valley are leaving. Few teams that are joining, like Menard and Burkeville, are going to start playing six-man football. But the most high-profile change in division is Gordon. Gordon was a team that last year had a pretty darn good year. I feel like they went 10. They were a 10-win team. They won their district. They ended up making the quarterfinals or the regional finals, losing to eventual state champions Strawn. This is, to me, a team that can make a run. When you take a look at their region, Abbott, our friend Terry Crawford, is probably going to be their biggest challenge within their region. Abbott, St. Joe, team like Coolidge, etc. I would say, though, if you take a look at Gordon, there's no real reason why they cannot, even though they're moving up a division, why they can't immediately contend and be a challenger to a team like Abbott in Region 3.
Oh, yeah, and if you see, like, obviously we saw how good Strawn was last year. To lose to them by not a substantial amount says enough.
Yeah, I think that's right. Number 7.
4A we go, the Argyle Eagles.
Of course, this is a high-profile move, right? Moving from 4A Division, I have that backwards. 4A Division 2 to 4A Division 1. No, I have that wrong. The 5A Division 2. They're moving up to 5A Division 2. I've got this. I'm doing great, guys.
Numbers.
I'm doing great. I didn't do a typo. You guys are reading it wrong. So they're moving up to 5A Division 2. And again, moving up to 5A Division 2 is not going to be fun. I don't think anybody's looking forward to this. But at the same time, where they got dropped, we talked about how they had a pretty soft landing district-wise. Also, you take a look at their region, in Region 1, and you start saying 5A Division 2, you go, okay, Colleyville Heritage, pretty darn good.
Yep.
Grapevine, same district, they're going to be pretty good. Wichita Falls Riders, a team that's made the regional final forever. But, like, I just
don't think
there's
Argyle
a ton
can
of
hang
depth.
with. Yeah.
I just don't think there's a ton of depth. And so for me, when you take a look at at Argyle moving up to 5A Division 2, not 4A Division 2 like it says on the graphic, I think Argyle can immediately contend and immediately is in that mix of those four teams with Heritage, Argyle, Grapevine, and Ryder that are going to be on the short list of Region 1 contenders. Number 6
to 2A, the Stratford Elks.
The first state champion we're going to have on this list, or second state champion rather. Moving up from 2A Division 2 to 2A Division 1. And look, you never want to be moving up a classification, especially I think there's a pretty big leap between 2A Division 2 and 2A Division 1.
Yes.
But again,
that's especially hard too right after a historic state run, you know.
But again, they're stepping into a region that I think they can make some noise in, okay? Hawley, and of course, played for a title last year. They'll have a little bit of rebuilding to do. Cisco is going to be dangerous. New Deal. We talked with Coach, the head of coach at Cristoval, Casey Otho, earlier this week. They're going to be a contender. There's more contenders, but I also think that right now, if you want to install Stratford as the team to beat in Region 1, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
They have some pieces to replace. Cody Rennie is gone, right? They're going to have some key pieces to replace. But I also think that they can make a run, and they can make some noise here in Region 1 by virtue of a defending state champ stepping into a region that I think is maybe, while there are really good teams here, I don't think there's necessarily another alpha that immediately you say, you got to get through them.
Right.
We're going to talk a little bit later, spoiler alert, we're going to talk a little bit later about Aledo. There's an alpha they have to get past, but there's ample reason to believe that they should be able to get past them. I just don't think there's an alpha right now in Region 1, especially since Hawley has some rebuilding to do. Into the top 5. Number 5!
Let's go way south here. Edinburgh Vela.
Let me be the first to tell you guys this, okay? And maybe you guys have dug into this, and I'm not breaking any news to you. So Edinburgh Vale is dropping from 6A to 5A Division 1. Same thing with PSJA North.
Yes.
They're both dropping down. Same with Harlingen South. They're all dropping down. Guys, I think that 6 of the top 7 teams in Region 4 are in the Valley.
Yeah.
I think Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial is going to be very dangerous again.
As they always
are. Of course, they were a team to keep an eye on last year. They were very dangerous last year. I am here to tell you that I think Edinburgh Vela was the best team in the Valley last year.
Yes.
And I think by dropping down to 5A Division 1 into a Region 4 that has, I think, they do not have an alpha. There's nobody there that I think is unbeatable. I think Edinburgh Vela can play in a state semifinal. I mean that sincerely. Now, if they were to get to a state semifinal, they might play a team like College Station or Manville or Smithson Valley or Magnolia West, and that wouldn't be super fun.
Right.
But they'd get there. And it's been a long time since we've had a regional champion in the Valley. I think at least for next year, 5A Division 1 Region 4 might be your best chance to have a Rio Grande Valley team in a state semifinal. There is big doings down there. I think the way that Region 4 broke is very favorable to a team like Edinburgh Vela and PSJ North.
Because Mission Vets and Sherilyn Pioneer were the last 2 to make it to a regional final, but they didn't win it.
Correct.
Right. They both got knocked out in the 4th round.
They could take it a step further.
That would be
awesome.
I'm
telling you that is the way Region 4 is set up, because of the fact that there are 2 Valley districts in it. There's a lot of reason to believe that Vela can make a run. And they're going to be really good, by the way. Number 4!
Another defending state champ, the China Spring Cougars.
China Spring's moving up, right? China Spring, of course, very famously, we went gaga over it on the realignment day about how, oh my gosh, they got dropped into
Lorena.
They got dropped. Oh no, that's Franklin.
Franklin, sorry,
they dropped into Stephenville.
Yes, there we go.
Same district with Stephenville. 2 4A state champions in the same district. And look, there's reason to believe that they were put into a very difficult region, right? Stephenville, Salina, La Vega, same district.
That like Waco area is getting insanely tough.
Kennedale, Paris. I mean, it is a really, really tough region. But I also think that China Spring has faced down. Maybe I'm just putting too much stock into what they did last year. And then obviously they've got big pieces to replace like Major Bowden. And they're going to have
a new coach.
But I also look at what they've built there and what they've and
consistency
and the people that they are, the teams that they have beaten to get to that level, right? To go through the Carthages and the West Orange Starks and the Gilmers to win a state championship. West Orange Stark, that's it. That's really impressive, and it's really difficult to do. And so, to me, China Spring, I don't think is going to be scared moving up to 4A Division 1. It's tough. Make no mistake about it. It's tough, but they're gonna get a snootful of 2 of the toughest teams in their region within their own district, and we'll find out real quickly, exactly where they're at.
Right.
So China Spring comes in number 4. Number 3,
Wichita Falls Hershey.
Okay, another one that I want to be the first to tell you guys. If I'm not, then you just forgive me. So Wichita Falls Hershey is dropping down from 4A Division 1 to 4A Division 2. And maybe you and I'll keep repeating this, but Wichita Falls is going through a very strange situation right now. They have 3 high schools. They have Old High, they have Ryder, and they have Hershey. They are going to close all 3 of them in a couple of years and reopen 2 brand new buildings that they're building, and they're going to consolidate 3 high schools into 2. I think if you were to talk to Antonio Wiley, who left Wichita Falls Hershey to become the head coach at Coppell, he would tell you that maybe that uncertainty may be why he was so inclined to take a job move, right?
Realistically, someone's going to lose a job because of that.
I'm here to tell you right now that in this swan song, in these next couple of seasons, in their swan song, Hershey's going to be super dangerous in Region 1. And right now, sports gun to my head, I would say that they're the favorite to win Region 2. Heck, they won Region 1 Region 1. They won Region 1 last year.
Yeah.
In 4A Division 1, and they're dropping down.
Because we had to reach out to their coach about the all-access piece in case they made it to state.
I think they're the favorite.
Yeah.
I think they've got to be the favorite. They are the champion of Region 1 in a higher division, now dropping down. I think they've got to be the favorite there. So Wichita Falls Hershey is a team to keep an eye on, and maybe a team like the Edinburgh Velas and like the Gordons that aren't getting the big headlines, but is going to be an immediate contender wherever they go. Then the last 2 are teams that have a fair amount of headlines. Number 2.
The aforementioned Bearcats of Alito.
So Alito is, again, pretty famously moving up from 5A Division 2 to 5A Division 1. It's a big leap. They are going into the same district with Denton Ryan, and Denton Ryan is...
There's that alpha.
There's the alpha, right? But I will say that I think that, obviously they get Ryan in district. A team like Tascosa and a team like Lubbock Cooper is not going to go away. Abilene, I think, is a sleeper. But what I'll tell you is that Alito is going to play against, they're going to face off against the best team in that region, or quote unquote the best team in their region, if it's not Alito, right? In Denton Ryan, in district.
Yep.
Those are the two, in my opinion, right now. If you were to ask me who are the two best teams in Region 1, I'd say it's Alito and Denton Ryan.
It's a classic Windthorst-Munster where we see them in district and then we likely see them in the regional final.
I would fully expect to see them play twice.
Right.
And for Alito, they have played teams at the 5A Division 1 level. They've beaten teams at the 5A Division 1 level.
They almost beat Cedar Hill a year or two ago at a 6A level.
I just do not think that this leap from 5A Division 2 to 5A Division 1 is going to necessarily scare them or mean that they're going to fall back to the pack. I think they're going to be an instant contender there in Region 1 of 5A Division 1. Now, here's an interesting thing. If they had been lumped into Region 2, maybe this is a different conversation. Because then they're going through Lone Star and Timberview and Longview and Wakeland.
It's just a lot more landmines.
Lancaster, right?
Yeah.
I think Region 1's a little bit more open for them to make a run. And that's why I think Alito is my number 2 team on my immediate contenders.
Which will lead to an amazing state semifinal game on that side of the bracket.
Potentially. You could have a team like Longview and Alito in a state semifinal. That'd be fun. But there can only be one. Number 1!
The accidentally aforementioned Franklin Lions.
Franklin. So Franklin, the 3A Division 2 state champion, is moving up to 3A Division 1. And this is a feel thing. This is not based in science. I want to be clear. This is much more art than science. I do not think that the gap at the very top between 3A Division 2 and 3A Division 1 is particularly large. There are other places where I do think that gap is large.
Yes.
I don't think that exists in 3A.
No.
I think that you saw Gunner and Franklin play in the 3A Division 2 state championship, and I think you saw Lorena and Brock play in the 3A Division 1 state championship game, and I would put all 4 of those teams on about the same plane.
Absolutely.
I think they're about the same level. And so Franklin, who does bring back a fair amount from last year's team, Franklin, of course, does get thrown into the wood chipper with Lorena in their district. But I'm also here to tell you that I think that region, all told, is not ultimately super deep. There's teams like Yoakum and Hallettsville from down south that I like, Diboll, Columbus. Little River Academy I think is a sleeper within their own district, right? But I also just don't think it's all that deep. And I think I think it's one of those instances where Lorena, of course, is going to be pretty good again. They may see them twice.
Right.
But right now, if you're asking me who I think is the favorite in 3A Division 2 or 3A Division 1 Region 3, might be Franklin. Might be Franklin. And a team that can legit win another state championship and go back-to-back starting out there in Region 3. I think that this is a Franklin team that's loaded. I think it's a Franklin program that's ready, that now they've got that state championship, they're feeling like they can beat anybody. Franklin is my number 1 immediate contender in a new Texas high school football classification for 2022. So there you go. There's my top 10. What do you think? Let me know in the comments of what I'm wrong about. You'll notice there were some, I'll tell you the last 2 cuts for me.
Okay.
Because
the honorable mentions?
I put together a list. The way I do these things is I just kind of go through and I just type up all the teams that I think are going to be there. And I ended up with 12. The 2 that got cut were Highland Park and Abilene.
Yeah. Yeah, Highland Park had a soft landing, and then Abilene...
Let me
soft landing in district.
Bingo. Soft landing in
not
district.
Necessarily region.
Not necessarily in the region. Abilene, I think, because they're dropping out of 5A Division 1 as well, but I also think that in that Region 1, they're not, in my opinion, the team to beat in 5A Division 1 Region 1. In my opinion, that might belong to another team that we talked about earlier, which was rather you're talking about Alito and Denton Ryan. We gotta get through them. You know what I mean? Anyway, so let me know what you think.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.